Let's talk a little bit about carbon sequestration. I'm sure that if you're trying to follow some climate solutions, that's one of them, well deserving of discussion out there. So, is carbon sequestration for CO2 is an idea, and it has some merit, but it needs to be understood what it can do and how long it would take to do it. So it comes back to a matter of efficiency equations. Bottom line is, to do this, we're going to extract CO2 from the air around us, compress it enough to turn it into a liquid, and then pump that liquid CO2 into deep pockets in the earth. An alternative to that could be just pumping the gas itself in. Both have pros and cons. The liquid, you have temperature issues, so you have to be able to maintain some pressure on that, so the rock selection gets very tedious. This is something we went through for trying to select a site for a nuclear repository. This is decades-old study in engineering and sciences into the mineral substrates of the planet and what we can do with them. Whether there's oil there, or minerals there that we need, or coal there, or precious metals, or gold. This is what we've been doing a long time. We know how this works, right? So, sequestration is taking a specific geological layer of rock with the best ability and stability to hold these materials that we want to hide from the rest of the planet. So you notice some pollution threads in here. There's continuing things with pollution, no matter what type it is. Life cycle things, bigger than just the act itself of sequestering carbon. So you're going to take the atmosphere, you're going to run it through something akin to a pressure swing absorber. And what that machine, what that separation technique, what that chemistry is going to do, the chemical separation is going to do, physical separation, it's not chemical, is basically pick the CO2 molecules out of the air going by and isolate those into a tank. And from that tank it'll be turned into a liquid, or maybe just pumped deep down into the earth somewhere. So we're going to assume many geologists have studied this, right? This is like storing nuclear waste. The potential is long-term risk if it starts leaking, if it does leak, if a major event happens. So the geological stability ought to be agreed upon to wherever we're going to put this. Another alternative maybe out there is ocean sequestration. Right now there are huge pockets of liquid methane sitting at the bottom of the ocean. Now, why would that liquid that's a gas sit down at the bottom of the oceans? Has to do with the pressures involved. PV equals T kind of thing. So we understand a lot about how this stuff works. So in this CO2 sequestration conversation, the big discussion is the full systems to do this. The size of these systems. How quickly can they be deployed? And what else in conjunction should we be trying out? It's not to do this, it's to do it well. The profit motive grows shallow here. The personal wealth ideals grow pretty shallow here. So this is a collective issue to be discussed because the cost, the investments. So somewhere across the planet, are going to be how many of these CO2 sequestration devices. To do the volumes of air necessary to pull CO2 out. Now, mind you, you're doing an ultra purification of these things too. When you're doing these separations, you're also going to be removing dust particles, these ppm things, from that stream. So this is going to be a high maintenance system to some degree, highly automated, very dangerous, but that's the system I used to separate hydrogen from processed syngas stream. Ultra high purity, well, high purity hydrogen removed for later use in the process from a machine the size of a house on a house lot. High purity hydrogen is a job, part of the job. That was a machine that was manufactured by Dow Chemical and put online about the same time as Bhopal happened, and Dow began to dissolve. So this pressure swing absorber thing is no small feat. Each of these terms, I suggest you go look up. I could put 500 links down below, and someone would find something else. So this is a tool. You'll see it all. We have these. You drive by a chemical refinery. Those towers that do those separations, that's what these things are going to look like. They might be tiny, they might be large. We don't know what that sequestration, so CO2 sequestration, good conversation. There's very few heroes in this thing, so let's talk about what sequestration means along with all the other things we need to do. We need to become better consumers. Eh? Good conversations though, but easy to sidetrack. Thank you all.